There's something about the turning of a new year that makes us reflective, not in the way the young celebrate with fireworks and resolutions to run marathons, but quietly in the early morning hours, sitting with tea as the world sleeps. You think about the year that just passed, what you carried through it, what weighed you down, and perhaps, if you're honest, you wonder, how much of this do I really need to bring into the new year? After 60, 70, 80 years of living, you've accumulated more than just possessions. You've collected burdens, some visible, most invisible, old wounds you've nursed, roles you've performed, worries that nest in your chest, resentments that sit like stones in your pockets. The Buddha understood something profound about time and release. He taught that clinging causes suffering, not the things themselves, but our grip on them. And a new year, in Buddhist understanding, is not just a calendar change. It's an invitation, a gentle question. What are you ready to set down? Today, we'll walk through 10 burdens that many carry year after year, decade after decade, without even realizing. Not with judgment, but with the compassionate recognition that you've earned the right, the privilege of putting them down. This is the Dharma of new beginnings, not by adding more, but by releasing what no longer serves. Not by striving harder, but by walking lighter into whatever time remains. 1. The mask you wore to be loved. Think back to all the versions of yourself you've performed over the decades. The dutiful daughter who swallowed her own dreams to care for aging parents. The selfless mother who never admitted she was tired. The strong provider who couldn't show weakness. The one who smiled through gatherings, even when her heart was breaking. These weren't lies exactly, but they weren't fully you either. You learned early, didn't you? That love came with conditions. That approval required shaping yourself into what others needed, so you became an expert at reading rooms, at sensing what people wanted, at molding yourself to fit their expectations. Year after year, the mask became so familiar you forgot you were wearing it at all. The Buddha spoke of anatta, the truth that we are not fixed, permanent selves. The roles we play, the masks we wear, are like costumes we mistake for skin. He taught that one of our deepest delusions is believing in a solid, unchanging I that must be protected and presented in just the right way. After 60, 70, 80 years, haven't you worn enough masks? There's a Zen story of a monk who spent decades polishing a brick, trying to make it into a mirror. Day after day, he rubbed and polished with all his effort. Finally, his teacher approached and asked gently, "How long will you polish what can never reflect truth?" The monk looked up, confused. The teacher continued, "A brick will never become a mirror, no matter how much you polish it. And the false self you've constructed will never become your true nature, no matter how much you perfect it. The same applies to the persona we've crafted for approval. No amount of polishing makes it authentic. You can spend another decade refining the performance, speaking more carefully, smiling more convincingly, shrinking more skillfully to make others comfortable. But at the end of all that effort, you'll still be performing. I once knew a woman named Dorothy who spent 73 years being the nice one. She was the peacemaker in every family conflict, the one who never disagreed, the one who made herself small so others could feel big. At her granddaughter's wedding, someone made a toast to Dorothy, who never met a person she didn't like. Everyone laughed warmly. But later, alone in the bathroom, Dorothy looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "They don't even know me." That moment broke something open, not with anger, but with exhaustion. She realized she'd spent 7 decades being likable and had somehow forgotten to be real. What if this season of life is your invitation to simply be not the person others needed you to be, but the one you actually are? The Buddha's path, begins with seeing clearly. And perhaps the clearest sight of all is recognizing which parts of you were never really yours to begin with. This doesn't mean becoming harsh or unkind. It means allowing your real voice to speak. It means saying no when your body tenses with yes. It means letting your face show what you feel. It means trusting that the people who love the real you are worth more than the crowds who love the performance. Next time you feel yourself performing, smiling when you're sad, agreeing when you don't, shrinking to make others comfortable, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Take one breath and whisper, even if only in your mind, "This is not mine to carry anymore." That simple acknowledgement is how freedom begins. 2. The tomorrow that never comes. How many years did you tell yourself, "When the kids are grown, I'll finally take that trip. When I retire, I'll learn to paint. When I have more time, I'll reconnect with old friends. When things settle down, I'll start living." And now here you are. The kids are grown. You've retired. You have more time than you've had in decades. Yet somehow, the habit of postponing remains. The trip stays unbooked. The paints stay in their box. The phone call stays unmade. Someday has become your most used word, and someday never seems to arrive. The Buddha's teachings after enlightenment addressed this directly. He spoke of anicca, impermanence, not as abstract philosophy, but as urgent, immediate truth. Everything changes, everything passes. And the trouble, he said, is that we think we have time. Every morning you wake is not guaranteed. Every breath is borrowed from a future that may not come. This isn't meant to frighten you. It's meant to wake you up from the dream that tomorrow will somehow be easier, clearer, or more ready than today. I knew a woman named Margaret, a retired schoolteacher in Vermont. For 40 years, she kept her grandmother's oil paints in the back of her closet. "Someday," she'd say, running her fingers over the dried-out tubes, "when I have time." When I met her at 76, she'd finally started painting, not because she suddenly had more time, but because her sister died unexpectedly at 74. Margaret realized with stark clarity, she didn't have more time. She had less. And every day spent waiting was a day she'd never get back. Her paintings weren't masterpieces. Her hands shook slightly. The colors sometimes bled where she didn't intend. But you should have seen her face when she worked. Pure presence, pure aliveness. She told me once, "I wasted 40 years being afraid I wasn't good enough. Now I paint because I'm still here." That's reason enough. What we call procrastination, the Dharma calls delusion, the belief that somehow tomorrow will be easier, clearer, more ready than today. But the only moment the Buddha ever spoke of was now. Not as a cliché, but as the only point where life actually happens. Think about what you've been postponing. Is it a conversation that needs to happen? Is it forgiveness you've been meaning to offer? Is it a dream that's been waiting in the wings of your heart? Is it simply allowing yourself to rest without guilt? Whatever it is, ask yourself honestly, what are you waiting for? What conditions need to be met before you allow yourself to begin? And are those conditions real? Or are they just another way of hiding from the vulnerability of actually living? The Dharma doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't require that you know exactly how things will unfold. It asks only for presence, for beginning, for taking one step in the direction of what matters, even if your hands shake, even if you're not sure you're ready. What is the one thing you've been waiting to do, to say, to try, to become? Not someday, today. Even one small step. Make the phone call. Open the box, book the ticket, speak the truth, because the new year is not a promise that you'll have more time. It's a reminder that the time you have is now. 3. The story you keep telling about your wounds. There's a story you've told so many times it feels like truth. Maybe it's the betrayal that shaped your 30s, the loss that defined your 40s, the mistake you made that you've never quite forgiven yourself for, the way your mother dismissed you, the way your marriage ended, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers. You've rehearsed it so often to friends, to therapists, to yourself in the quiet hours that you've forgotten it's a story at all. It's become your origin myth, the explanation for why you are the way you are, why you can't do certain things, why you've settled for less than you deserved. The Buddha taught about what's called the second arrow. When something painful happens, a loss, a betrayal, an injustice, that's the first arrow. It strikes and it hurts. But then we pick up the second arrow ourselves and shoot it again and again into the same wound. We replay the story. We rehearse the pain. We build our identity around what hurt us. The past already wounded you once. Why do you keep reopening it? There's a powerful story from Buddhist tradition about a man named Angulimala. He was a serial killer who murdered 999 people, wearing their fingers as a necklace around his neck. When he encountered the Buddha on a road, something shifted. The Buddha didn't say, "Your past doesn't matter." He didn't offer cheap forgiveness or pretend the harm hadn't happened. Instead, he said something more radical. Your past doesn't define what you do now. Angulimala became a monk. He practiced with dedication, and though the families of his victims couldn't forgive him, though he carried the karma of his actions, he found peace. Not by changing what he'd done, but by refusing to let it determine what he would become. You are not Angulimala. Your story is different, but the teaching remains. At some point, you must decide whether you're going to keep identifying with your wounds, or whether you're going to let them become simply part of your history, something that happened, but not who you are. I think of a man named Robert I met at a meditation retreat. He'd spent 30 years telling the story of how his business partner betrayed him in his 40s, how it cost him everything. The story had grooves worn into it from retelling. But during a silent walking meditation, something shifted. He told me later, I suddenly heard myself from the outside, and I realized, I've been dining out on this story for 3 decades. It's become more real than my actual life. That recognition didn't erase the betrayal. It didn't make the loss less real. But it created space between Robert and his story. He could finally ask, if I'm not the man who was betrayed 30 years ago, who am I now? At this stage of life, you don't need a better past. You need freedom from the past. Not amnesia, the Dharma doesn't ask you to forget, but release, the ability to remember without bleeding, to acknowledge without reliving. When the old story rises, the one about how you were wronged, how you failed, how it ruined everything, pause. Take a breath and say gently, as if speaking to a child who's told the same tale one too many times, that was then, this is now. I am not who I was, I am who I am becoming. 4. The belief that someone else will make you whole. For how many years did you believe that happiness lived outside yourself? That it resided in your spouse's affection, your children's success, your friends' availability, your siblings' approval? That if only they would change, would see you, would give you what you needed, then, finally, you'd be okay. And when they couldn't give it, or wouldn't, or didn't know how the emptiness felt unbearable, you tried harder, gave more, explained yourself better, waited more patiently. Surely, eventually, they'd fill the void. Surely someone out there held the missing piece of your peace. The Buddha's final words to his disciples were these: be a lamp unto yourself. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. These weren't the words of someone rejecting community or relationship. They were the words of a teacher who understood a profound truth. Your peace cannot depend on another person's presence. I think of a man named Arthur. I heard his story at a grief support group where he spoke at 81, recently widowed. He said something that stayed with me. I spent 53 years of marriage waiting for my wife to make me happy. I thought that was what marriage meant, that she would complete me, that her love would fill whatever was empty in me. And she tried. God, how she tried. But it was never enough, because the hole I was asking her to fill was in me, not in her. After she passed, Arthur faced something terrifying. Himself. Without her presence to focus on, without her love to pursue, he had to confront the question he'd been avoiding his whole life. Who am I when no one else is here? And slowly, through that confrontation, he discovered something unexpected. The happiness he'd been seeking from her had been available inside him all along, not because she didn't matter, but because no other person could ever grant him permission to be at peace. This doesn't mean you love less, it means you love more freely. When you stop needing others to complete you, you can finally appreciate them, as they are not as support beams holding up your emotional house, but as fellow travelers on the path. This is what Buddhists call metta loving kindness without clinging. Love that doesn't grasp. Love that doesn't demand. Love that says, I'm grateful for your presence, but my wholeness doesn't depend on it. Perhaps the great gift of aging is finally understanding. No one is coming to rescue you. Your children have their own lives. Your friends have their own burdens. Your partner, if you have one, is also just a fragile human trying to find their way. And that's not tragic. That's liberation. You have everything you need already. Not because your life is perfect, but because peace was never something to be imported from outside. It was always an inside practice. Place both hands on your heart right now. Feel it beating. That rhythm has been with you since before you were born. It will be with you until the end. You've never been alone. You've had yourself all along. Breathe, and say quietly, as many times as you need to hear it, may I be my own refuge. May I be my own source of peace. May I be my own lamp. This is not loneliness. This is freedom. 5. The worry about what hasn't happened. How much of your life has been spent rehearsing disasters that never came? The diagnosis you were certain was coming. The financial collapse you prepared for that never arrived. The rejection you braced yourself against that never happened. The abandonment you saw lurking around every corner. Your mind, trying to protect you, runs endless simulations. What if your savings run out? What if your health fails? What if your children stop calling? What if you end up alone? What if? And here's the cruelest part. While you were busy worrying about tomorrow's possible disasters, you missed today's actual gifts. The sunrise you didn't see because you were calculating medical costs. The friend's kindness you couldn't receive because you were anticipating their eventual departure. The peace that was available right here, right now, that you traded for imaginary future suffering. The Buddha said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. And he said it not as pleasant advice, but as urgent instruction. Because anxiety is suffering in advance for something that isn't real. It's volunteering for pain before pain has even arrived, and often for pain that will never arrive at all. There's a story of a woman named Kisa Gotami who came to the Buddha carrying her dead child, begging for medicine to revive him. The Buddha didn't refuse her directly. Instead, he sent her on a task: to find a mustard seed from a household that had never known death. She went door to door. The first house: we lost our grandmother last year. The second: our son died in childhood. The third: my husband passed just months ago. On and on, through the entire village. Every single household had experienced loss. When she returned to the Buddha, she understood. Suffering is universal. Loss is guaranteed. But what she'd been doing, imagining future suffering, rehearsing possible losses, that was optional. That was the second layer of pain she was adding to life's inevitable first layer. Your mind wants to protect you by preparing for every possibility. It thinks that if you worry enough, you can prevent disaster. But the Dharma says, the only battle is today. The only breath is this one. Everything else is imagination. Yes, decline may come. Loss may arrive. Your health may change. Your circumstances may shift. The people you love may leave or die. These are the truths the Buddha never denied. But you are not living those moments now. You are only imagining them. And imagination steals the peace of the present. I knew a woman named Patricia who spent her 70s consumed with worry about developing dementia. Her mother had it, her aunt had it, and Patricia was convinced it was waiting for her too. Every forgotten name became evidence. Every misplaced key became a symptom. She spent years in advance, grief for a mind she hadn't yet lost. At 79, she told me, I just realized I've wasted 5 years being terrified of losing my memory. And my memory is still here. But those 5 years? Those I actually lost to worry. When the worried thoughts come about health, money, being alone, what the new year might bring, pause. Ask yourself gently, is this happening right now? If the answer is no, return to what is actually here, the breath moving in and out, the chair supporting you, the light coming through the window. The body is always in the present. It doesn't worry about tomorrow or regret yesterday. It simply breathes, beats, lives. Let it teach the mind what it has forgotten. Now is the only place where life happens. 6. The resentment you've carried for years. There's someone you haven't forgiven. Maybe it's your father who was never there, your sibling who got the inheritance you deserved, your friend who abandoned you when you needed them most, your ex-spouse who chose someone else. Maybe it's yourself for choices you can't undo. They might not even know you're still angry. They might not remember what happened, or they might remember it differently. They might not care anymore. But you've carried this stone in your chest for years, decades even, and it's made you heavy. Every time their name comes up, you feel it, that familiar tightening, that old fire. You've rehearsed what you'd say if you ever got the chance. You've imagined them finally understanding, finally apologizing, finally suffering the way you suffered. But they haven't. And the only person being burned by your anger is you. The Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned, not them. You. I think of Roy, a man I met at a Buddhist community center. He was 83 and hadn't spoken to his brother in 30 years. The fight started over something trivial, a disagreement at their mother's funeral about how to divide her belongings. Both men dug in. Both waited for the other to apologize. 30 years passed. Roy told me he'd written his brother letters over the years, long, detailed explanations of his hurt, his perspective, his willingness to reconcile, if only his brother would admit he'd been wrong. But he never sent them. He kept them in a drawer, reading them sometimes, revising them, adding new grievances as they occurred to him. At our meditation circle one evening, someone asked Roy what he'd learned from his practice. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I've learned that I've been writing letters to my brother for 30 years, but really, I've been writing them to myself. And the person who needed to receive them was me. That recognition didn't immediately heal the rift. But it shifted something. Roy realized he'd been waiting for his brother to release him from his anger. But his brother couldn't do that. Only Roy could. Forgiveness, in Buddhist understanding, is not about the other person at all. It's not saying what they did was acceptable. It's not inviting them back into your life if they're harmful. It's not pretending the hurt didn't happen. Forgiveness is simply this: deciding you're no longer willing to suffer for what they did. It's releasing the hot coal. Not because they deserve your mercy, but because you deserve peace. How much time remains? A year? 5? 10? Do you really want to spend it carrying resentment? Do you want to cross into another new year with this weight still on your back? This is your season to put it down. Not for them, for the peace you've earned, for the lightness that's possible when you finally stop clutching the coal. Sit quietly. Picture the person, or picture yourself, if that's who you haven't forgiven. Take a breath and say, either aloud or in the silence of your heart, I release you. Not because you were right, not because I condone what happened, but because I am tired of carrying this. I free you so I can be free. You might need to say it 100 times before you feel it. That's okay. The Dharma is patient. Say it until the words become true. 7. The search for happiness out there. You've been told your whole life that happiness is a destination. Get the education, then you'll be happy. Get the career, then you'll be happy. Get married, have children, buy the house, reach retirement, then, finally, you'll be happy. But here you are. You've achieved many of those things, or at least survived the journey toward them. And somehow, happiness keeps moving. It's always just beyond the next milestone, the next achievement, the next change in circumstances. When you were young, you thought happiness would come with freedom from your parents, then with finding the right partner, then with financial security, then with the children growing up, then with retirement. And now? Now maybe you think it will come when your health improves, when you move somewhere quieter, when you finally figure out what you're supposed to do with this stage of life. The Buddha taught something radical. Peace isn't found by arriving somewhere. It's found by being somewhere, right here, right now, with exactly what is. There's an old story of a gardener who tended a small temple garden in the mountains. Every day, whether visitors came or not, he watered the flowers, pulled the weeds, swept the paths. One day, a traveler asked him, "Why do you work so hard when so few people come to see your garden?" The gardener looked at him with gentle surprise. "I don't water it because someone is watching. I water it because it needs care." Joy is the same. It doesn't come from being seen or appreciated. It comes from doing what's true. That's the teaching. Happiness is not a reward for achieving the right conditions. It's a practice of meeting these conditions, whatever they are, with acceptance, with presence, with integrity. You spent your younger years chasing, running toward something you thought would complete you. What if this season is for resting? Not in boredom or resignation, but in presence. What if happiness has been available all along, hidden in the ordinary moments you rushed past while searching for something extraordinary? The warmth of morning sun through your window, the taste of tea, the sound of birds, the feeling of your own breath, the simple fact that you're still here, still alive, still capable of noticing the world around you. The Dharma says that virtue itself is happiness. Living with integrity is the destination. Not someday when everything aligns, but right now, in how you meet this moment. I think of a woman named Helen, who spent her retirement traveling the world, convinced that the next destination would finally bring lasting contentment. Paris, Bali, New Zealand, Peru. Each place was beautiful. Each gave her moments of joy. But as soon as she returned home, the restlessness returned. The feeling that true happiness was still elsewhere, still waiting to be found. At 77, recovering from hip surgery that made travel difficult, she found herself confined to her small apartment. And something unexpected happened. She began to notice things. The way afternoon light moved across her kitchen wall. The pattern of leaves outside her window changing with the seasons. The quiet satisfaction of making soup, of reading slowly, of simply being still. She told me, "I thought happiness was out there, somewhere I hadn't been yet. Turns out it was right here, in moments I'd been too busy seeking to notice." Each morning, before the day's demands begin, before you start planning or worrying or remembering, sit for just 1 minute. Feel yourself breathing. Notice that you're alive, and say, quietly, as a gift to yourself, "This moment is enough. This breath is enough. I am enough." Not because your life is perfect, but because the search for perfect is what's been stealing your peace all along. 8. The need to explain yourself. How many times have you justified your choices to people who didn't ask? Defended your feelings to those who wouldn't understand anyway? Explained why you said no, why you're tired, why you need space, why you've made the decisions you've made, as if your life required permission from others to be lived. You've spent decades in an invisible courtroom, making your case, presenting your evidence, trying to convince a jury that your choices are valid, your feelings are reasonable, your boundaries are justified. And the exhausting truth? Most of them weren't even listening. They'd already made up their minds. Your explanations changed nothing except how depleted you felt. The Buddha taught right speech as part of the Eightfold Path. We often think of right speech as speaking truthfully and kindly, but he also taught something equally important, knowing when not to speak. Not every thought needs voicing. Not every action needs justifying. Not every criticism needs a response. There's a Zen story of a student who asked his master, "Why do you never defend yourself when people criticize your teaching?" The master was watering a small tree. He paused, looked at the student, and said simply, "The tree doesn't explain why it grows toward the sun. It simply grows." The student pressed, "But don't you want them to understand?" The master smiled. "Understanding comes from their own observation, not from my explanation. My task is to grow toward the light. Their task is their own. Your life is not a courtroom. You are not on trial. The Dharma asks only that you live with integrity, not that you convince others of it." I think of a woman named Sarah who spent her entire life explaining herself, why she divorced her husband, why she chose to work instead of staying home, why she didn't have more children, why she made the choices she made. Every decision came with a lengthy justification, a preemptive defense against judgment she imagined was coming. At 72, she had a revelation during a family dinner. Her daughter made a comment about Sarah's decision to sell the family home. And for the first time, instead of launching into explanation, Sarah simply said, "Yes, I did." Her daughter waited for more. Sarah offered nothing, just peace, just silence. Later, Sarah told me, "I realized I'd spent 50 years trying to make everyone understand my life. And I suddenly thought, why? What am I defending? I made the best choices I could with what I knew at the time. That's enough. Anyone who loves me will trust that. Anyone who doesn't, well, my explanations won't change their minds anyway." After this many years, haven't you earned the right to simply be without constantly explaining? Your actions will speak, your life will teach, Those who love you will see. Those who don't will find fault regardless of how eloquently you defend yourself. Let your presence be your answer. Next time you feel the urge to justify, defend, or explain, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself gently, does this person truly need to understand, or do I need their approval? And if it's the latter, if you're seeking permission to exist as you are, then choose silence. Not cold silence, not angry silence, but the powerful silence of someone who knows their own worth and doesn't require external validation to confirm it. 9. The habits that harm your body and mind. There are habits you know aren't serving you. The glass of wine that's become 2, then 3. The hours scrolling through news and social media, numbing yourself with other people's drama. The sugar that dulls emotional pain but clouds your mind and weakens your body. The staying up too late even though you're exhausted. The saying yes when your whole being screams no. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're just tired. And these habits, they're not character flaws, they're coping mechanisms that once helped you survive. But what served you then may be harming you now. The Buddha taught that the body is the first foundation of mindfulness. He called it kayanupassana, awareness of the body. Not because the body is all we are, but because it's the vessel carrying us through this life. To care for it is not vanity, it's respect. It's basic kindness toward the only home you'll ever truly inhabit. I think of Grace, a woman who came to a meditation retreat at 74, still recovering from hip surgery. For most of her life, she'd been fiercely independent, hiking, dancing, even teaching yoga. But after surgery, she felt betrayed by her own body. I pushed it so hard for so many years, she told me. Ignored pain, overrode exhaustion, treated it like a machine that should just keep performing. During walking meditation one morning, moving slowly with her cane, Grace had a realization. She'd spent decades treating her body as something to control, to push, to override, but her body had never been her enemy. It had been trying to speak to her all along, and she'd just refused to listen. She said something I'll never forget. I thought I needed to get strong again, but maybe what I really needed was to get kind. That shift from performance to compassion is at the heart of Buddhist practice. What we call self-discipline, the Dharma calls metta towards self, treating your body not as a machine to punish, but as a temple to tend. Your body has carried you for 70, 80 years. It's weathered stress, borne children, or cared for others, healed from illness and injury, adapted to countless changes. It's never given up on you. Even now, even with its limitations, it wakes up each day and continues. It deserves your tenderness now, not your neglect. This doesn't mean you need to suddenly become someone else. You don't need to run marathons or become a health fanatic. The Buddha taught the middle way, not extreme asceticism, but wise balance. Choose one small habit to shift, not with judgment, not with shame, but with love. Replace the third glass of wine with a cup of tea. Replace an hour of scrolling with a short walk outside. Replace harsh self-criticism with gentle acknowledgement. I'm doing the best I can. The Buddha didn't demand perfection. He asked for direction, for turning even slightly toward what nourishes rather than what depletes. Because the truth is simple. You can't find peace in a body you're at war with. You can't practice presence in a mind you're constantly numbing. The new year isn't asking you to become someone new. It's inviting you to finally care for who you already are. 10. The habit of judging others. It's easier to see what's wrong with others than to face what's unresolved in yourself. The neighbor who talks too loudly, the family member who makes thoughtless comments, the stranger at the grocery store who moves too slowly. The world that's not quite as you'd like it to be. You notice their flaws with crystal clarity, their selfishness, their ignorance, their lack of awareness. And in noticing, you feel briefly superior, briefly better, briefly justified in your own choices. But underneath that judgment, often there's just fear. Fear of your own similar tendencies. Fear of being seen with the same harsh eyes you turn on others. The Buddha said something that strikes at the heart of this. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and attention, not others first. Not fixing them, judging them, correcting them, yourself. Because only a heart at peace with itself can offer genuine peace to others. There's a teaching in Buddhism about the most beautiful bowls. The story goes that the most prized tea bowls in Japanese culture are the ones with cracks repaired with gold lacquer through a practice called kintsugi. The cracks don't diminish the bowl's beauty. They enhance it. They let the light through. They tell the story of what the bowl has survived. When you judge others for their cracks, their flaws, their mistakes, their rough edges, you're forgetting something essential. You're forgetting your own cracks, the places where you've broken, the ways you've failed, the times you've been thoughtless, selfish, blind to your impact on others. I remember a man named Thomas at a meditation group who was constantly critical of others. During sharing time, he'd comment on how distracted someone seemed, how another person's breathing was too loud, how the teacher's instructions were unclear. Week after week, he found fault. One evening, the teacher gently asked him, "Thomas, what do you notice when you look inward with that same attention?" He was quiet for a long time. Then, quietly, "I notice I'm afraid. Afraid that if I stop judging them, I'll have to look at myself, and I'm not sure I want to see what's there." That honesty opened something, because the truth is, criticism of others is often projection of what we haven't healed in ourselves. The things that trigger you most in others, those are usually the shadows you're carrying inside, the parts of yourself you haven't yet made peace with. The Dharma invites something different. Observe yourself with the same scrutiny you give others. Turn the mirror inward. When you notice yourself criticizing someone silently or aloud, pause. Don't judge the judgment. Just notice it. And then ask, what in me does this trigger? What wound of mine is this touching? What am I afraid of seeing in myself? You've lived long enough to know something true. Everyone is struggling with something you can't see. The person who seems to have it all together, they're carrying something heavy. The one who acts superior, they're probably terrified of being found inadequate. The one who hurt you, they're hurting too. Compassion doesn't mean approving of harmful behavior. It means recognizing the shared human condition that we're all stumbling through this life, trying to find our way, making mistakes, carrying wounds we don't always understand. When judgment arises toward others, try this practice. Pause. Breathe. Say quietly, "Just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person wants to avoid suffering. Just like me, this person is doing the best they can with what they know." It won't always feel true. But say it anyway, because compassion is a practice, not a feeling. And compassion, the Buddha taught, begins when judgment ends. We've walked together through 10 burdens, the masks we wore to be loved, the tomorrow that never comes, the stories about our wounds, the belief that someone else will make us whole, the worry about what hasn't happened, the resentment we've carried for years, the search for happiness out there, the need to explain ourselves, the habits that harm our body and mind, and the habit of judging others. Not one of these makes you weak. Each one simply reveals that you're human, that you've carried what you thought you had to carry, that you've survived by clinging when you didn't yet know how to let go. There's no shame in that. only recognition, only the gentle acknowledgement that you've done your best with what you knew. But the Buddha's final teaching was this: be a lamp unto yourself, not a torch that burns out trying to light the way for everyone else, not a fire that consumes everything in reach, but a steady, quiet lamp that illuminates just enough for your own next step. Remember that image from the opening, sitting at the kitchen table in the early morning, feeling the weight of all those years. What if that weight could be set down? Not all at once, because transformation is rarely sudden, but burden by burden, breath by breath, choice by choice. Letting go is not loss. It is liberation. It is choosing to walk lighter into whatever time remains. And in that lightness, you won't find emptiness. You'll find spaciousness, room for peace, room for presence, room for the quiet joy of simply being alive, without all the weight you thought you had to carry. The new year is not a promise of more time. None of us knows how much time we have, but it is an invitation to begin again, to choose differently, to release what no longer serves. The Dharma doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present, to be honest, to be kind, especially to yourself. So I ask you gently, which burden will you set down first? Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect. Today, right now, even just one. Pick it up in your awareness, feel its weight, and then, with intention, place it at your feet. Step away from it, and notice, really notice how much easier it becomes to breathe. If this spoke to something in you, if you felt even one moment of recognition, I invite you to share in the comments. Which of these 10 resonated most? Which burden are you ready to leave behind as we step into this new year? Let's walk this path together, not in perfection, but in presence. Not alone, but as fellow travelers learning to carry less and live more. Because the Dharma makes a simple promise. You don't need to carry everything forever. You only need to carry what serves your peace right now. And everything else, all those weights you've dragged across decades, you can let them go. You can set them down. You can walk into the new year lighter than you've been in years. The path of liberation isn't somewhere far away. It's right here, in this choice, in this moment, in this single breath. And it's waiting for you, patient and kind, ready whenever you are. Let it go.